Well, good morning, Linda.
Hello, everyone. How's it
How are
going,
we
Sam?
doing today?
I am doing fabulous. How about you?
And I deserve, even though I've been whining all morning. We're here to talk about your book launch party.
Yay!
Tell us a little bit about the book, the title, and how you came up with that, and some of the backstory.
Well, it's called On Resilience When You're Too Effing Stupid to Quit. Um,
Okay, that's the
because,
part.
you know,
Yeah, that's the part that I couldn't read. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, there we go.
because
Perfect.
that is the story of my life, and I think it's the story of a lot of people's lives. Um,
Hmm.
and really, what it is I've been very blessed to have an amazing support system
Hmm.
in my life, and I know most people don't have that.
Right.
So, as my family, me, my husband, my son, we've all gone through these different health and whatever issues. And people kept asking how we got through it.
Mhm.
And so I just finally sat down and started looking back and kind of making notes about all the things that were available to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so this is kind of a toolkit. And the most important part about this toolkit is I want people to understand that they're not alone.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Even though what we go through is unique to us, it's also similar to what other people have gone through. And it helps to know that it's not just you. It's not just your life that may be having a hard time right now.
Mhm.
And the older we get, the more opportunities we have to be resilient.
Mhm. This is true.
And some of us, it's become like a badge of honor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's okay as long as the things we're being resilient through, it's not the same things over and over and
Right.
over.
Right.
Um, because we're going through these things and there's something we're supposed to learn.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if we're not learning it, we're going to keep going through it.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so I think one of my favorite parts of the book is I had been watching Simon Sinek, and there was a clip out there when he was talking to Matthew McConaughey, and McConaughey was talking about how we're just resilient. You get up in the morning, you walk outside, turn to your right, and you step in a pile of crap, and you
Yep.
scrape it off, and you just keep going, and you do that day after day after day, and you're just like, I'm just so resilient. I'm gonna keep going. And he says, when do we stop and say, what can I do different here?
Right. Right.
instead of just grin and bear it and scraping off the crap every time I step into it. What can I do different so I'm not always stepping in that same pile of crap?
Right.
And
Right.
oh my God, that's so true. And so that's where you kind of it's kind of like a badge of honor. We're tough, you know.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God,
Right.
we're gonna get through this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what can we do different so we don't have to keep getting through this?
Yeah. Yeah. And if we don't make those conscious changes, um, and say, I don't want this result any longer.
Yeah.
Then we keep stepping in it every morning.
And the badge of honor doesn't serve. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
It's I'm proud of all the things me and my family have gotten through. That doesn't mean
Mhm.
I want to keep doing the same.
Mhm.
And so part of the book is, kind of making a joke out of it. I've got a little bit in there, stealing from Jeff Foxworthy. You know you're resilient when you keep hitting your head against the wall and you haven't knocked yourself out yet.
Yeah, right, right.
And so when you think about the things that we do, and I truly believe that everything we go through serves a purpose.
Hmm, hmm,
It's just what purpose are we going to have it serve?
hmm,
And
hmm.
I think we get to choose the purpose.
I think you're right. I think you're right. You know, I look at uh, some of my former, well, I guess I shouldn't say former because I stay in touch with most of them, but financial coaching clients, and that's um, they were doing the same thing over and over and over again, and obviously getting the same results,
Yeah.
being broke, you know, living paycheck to paycheck and everything else. And so once they decided to step out of that and do something different, no matter how small that difference was, things began to change for them. And so, um, and it doesn't have to be this massive change. If you're trying to correct, the situation, stepping out in the morning and there's a pile of dog poo there, it's only a half a step to either side,
Right.
right? And so um, it's those little things, and to be able to continue to bounce back is it's a characteristic um, that honestly, a lot of people just keep letting themselves get beat up.
And they wear that as the badge of toughness, the badge of resilience. And
Mhm. I'm resilient.
yeah,
I
I
keep,
mean,
I keep getting back up.
and I do keep getting back up, but do I have to keep getting back up and walking into the same fist or the
Right,
same
right.
wall or the same situation?
Hmm.
And even when we're talking about, walking out and stepping in the same pile of poo every day, clean up the poo, remove it.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
are so many there are so many ways that we can modify the circumstances of our lives to learn from the resiliency that we have. It's a muscle, and the
Hmm,
older we get, the stronger it gets because
hmm.
the older you get, the more you get to go through. Um, I'm in awe of young kids who have these devastating illnesses from the very beginning and how resilient they are. But if you also look at them, there's so much joy
Hmm.
because number one, they were too young to know that it was not just how life was.
Right, right.
And so they didn't have that comparison.
Hmm.
But you see them as they grow older and they grow up in life, and it takes a lot to knock them down.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
But they don't go looking for things to knock them down.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of us, myself included, I spent so much time getting knocked down that it took me a long time to figure out that I didn't have to be knocked down in order to move forward.
We think that getting knocked down is the status quo, the norm. And while it may be, it shouldn't be getting knocked down for the same thing every time.
No, no. And you know, it's hard sometimes because as humans we're very much creatures of habit.
Hmm.
And so even when the habit is horrible and it doesn't serve us, it's familiar and it's comfortable.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's easier to stay in the habit than to figure out how to get out of it.
Right, right.
Because because the devil, at
Yeah,
least at least we know what's coming, right? And we're
right,
doing
right.
and we're
And
doing it to ourselves, but we know what's coming, so we'll take it because we don't.
and if we would just identify that and say, okay, it's time to make a change, then we can um, uh, um, begin to change the habit in small ways. I think of there's two books, Tiny Habits and Atomic Habits,
Yeah.
and they both are on the same premise.
Yeah.
You change one little thing at a time, and it's um, I can't remember the number of degrees, but the initial if you're flying from L.A. to New York, and I think it's 2 degrees off on
Hmm.
that same flight time, you end up in Washington D.C. instead of New York.
Yeah.
So you only you're talking. I'm pretty sure it was 2 degrees. I could be wrong, so don't be claiming that I'm stupid about that. I don't know. I could go look it
It
up for
doesn't
y'all.
take
Um,
much, but
but
it accumulates.
it's not much. It accumulates. Yeah. Um, and so as we make those small changes, life begins to change. Our circumstance begin to change. When it comes to finances, our finances suddenly begin to look positive. If you're dealing with you deal with folks all the time who don't know how to take care of themselves. They're either caregivers, and they're hanging out there, and they spend so much time taking care of others, they don't know how to take care of themselves. But one small change, one small habit change, and they can begin to see the light for themselves.
Right. And, when we think about it, nothing happens overnight.
Mhm.
Addiction doesn't happen overnight.
Mhm.
Um, Habits, good or bad, they accumulate over time. So
Yep.
it's not like somebody just suddenly hit rock bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just when you hit that point, then suddenly maybe you notice how bad it is.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I've got 70 plus years of bad habits.
yeah, I've got going on 65 years of bad habits. And the thing is because it's so gradual
Mhm.
and because it's so sneaky, you don't notice until it's piled up to such an extent. Just the same way, like when somebody loses weight, you don't just suddenly lose 40 pounds overnight.
Right.
It may
Well,
take
if
a
you did,
while.
you'd end up in hospital.
Well, there's ways to lose it, but I lost a lot of weight very quickly, and it's not a recommendation I would make to
Yeah,
anybody.
no.
Yeah, no, feeding tubes are not the way to go.
No.
Um, but good things and bad things, it's gradual.
Mhm.
So what we do every morning to get ourselves on the right track is very important.
Mhm.
You know, you helped me through this with my finances, and it's still one of the first things I do every day is I get up and I look to see, what needs to be paid today, where everything is. I stay on track and I
Mhm.
stay on top of it. And as situations come up, I have more flexibility in what I do with my money. But that
Mhm.
doesn't mean I need to go hog wild, although
Right.
I am going to go to Uganda in January.
Okay, there you go. But that's a bucket list item.
That's a bucket list item, and I'm prepping for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's funny. A lot of times, we have those habits, and so, for example, and just so you all know that we try to practice what we preach, but it doesn't always work. What happens? So I don't know if many of you know or not, but my wife and I, our anniversary gift to each other was this cruise that we just took. So I didn't turn on the internet. We had 3 days at sea or 4 days at sea total. So you have no internet. You have the only texting you have is back and forth through the Royal Caribbean app, which was fine. Now, that was a choice.
mhm.
I could have paid for the internet, but that wasn't what we had decided to do. There were a few times when we were in port, we could get online. And I think Rita posted a few things. She sent some pictures to folks. But what I didn't do the whole time I was on the cruise was check my finances. Now I knew how much money we had to spend.
Hmm.
And I knew all that, and I kept track of that. So what I did check every evening and every morning was my onboard charges and all that kind of stuff. So I knew exactly where we were at, and it all came out in the wash. Everything worked out fine and everything else. And we were back. I don't know. We've been back uh, about, over a week, and I'm like, just yesterday, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on with my finances. No wonder I'm beginning to have stress over it.
Right.
Hadn't looked. Hadn't even looked. And I, like you say, I first thing in the morning, I check. It's not the first thing I do. I have a routine, but before I really get my day going, I check to see where we're at and make sure everything's there. Make sure there are no surprises.
Right.
Well, this morning I did that, and there were no surprises, and I have a lot more peace in my life because I know what's going on. I have my list. I know what's coming out today. I know what's coming out tomorrow. I think I have a break of 2 or 3 days in there with nothing coming out, but but I'm in control.
Right. And
Aren't
that and that's the important part.
Yeah.
There are lots of things that we can fight with control about.
Hmm.
And there are things that we definitely need to have control over, not to the point where it disempowers us, but it's taken me a long time to figure out what things I need for me to feel in
Hmm.
control of and what I'm okay not feeling in control of.
Right.
Because I like to go with the flow with a lot of things, but finances and health aren't one of them. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So
so
tell me a little bit more. If I understand this correctly, you're going to try and this is not just a one-shot deal where you launch the book. You have a group that you're going to form around this book. Is that correct?
yes, when you purchase the book, there's a QR code in the back that you scan that gets you into our community. And we're there to help support each other, cheer each other on, be sounding board for each other. And it's just another way to let you know that you're not alone. And
Cool.
so um, I'm doing it through the Grow Karma platform.
Okay.
And it's just another thing that I can put out there to help people feel seen and heard and
Mhm.
understood
Connected.
and
Yeah.
be connected together in that community. So I'm really excited about that. And when we do the launch on Tuesday, I'll talk more about that. But again, it's just one of those things. I thought, I've got this platform
Hmm.
that I use for my other courses, and
Hmm.
it's the perfect platform for this. It's a nice,
Right.
secure, safe space
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
for people to come in. And, I reserve the right to block anybody that misuses it. So it's a
Yep.
safe space.
So remind me again, this is next Tuesday, correct?
Tuesday the 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I think we put it in the comments. There's a place you can go register.
There's a link in it'll come up on both of our YouTube channels, but we'll have to go in and put it in the comments on our Facebook pages. So
Right.
we will do that, and
And that
sign up.
registers you you'll get the Zoom link for the launch
Hmm.
on Tuesday. And, it'll be fun. I'll share some stuff from the book there. I think there's probably going to be some giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay. All
I'm
right.
just I'm just excited because it's not so much about me selling books. It's about them getting into the hands of people that can use it, that
Yep.
need it.
Yep.
And if
Yeah.
that's just one person, I will be thrilled that they
Yeah.
get something out of it.
Okay. So once again, give us the title of the book and the subtitle.
On resilience when you're too effing stupid to quit.
You got to come, folks. That's Tuesday,
May 12th,
7, the 12th, 7:30,
7 p.m. Eastern
7
Time.
p.m. Eastern. So Tuesday, the 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Join Linda. I will be there. Um, and
Pop in and say hello.
Yeah, stop in and say hi. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Please make sure you like and share our videos with your family and friends that we can grow our community here. If you have any comments, please drop them in the comments or send us an email at balancingact2024@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. So, Linda, this has been very, very interesting. I'm really looking forward to Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. That's the 12th, and we're going to talk about on resilience. And I love the subtitle.
And I did bleep it. I did bleep it in the text, so it doesn't say the whole word. But
Yes, I know.
yeah,
So, all right,
which is
Linda,
life, right?
this has been fun today.
It has been fun. Thanks.
Thank you so much. We're praying for a successful book launch.
Thanks. Me too.
Okay. See y'all later.